Today's video is an emergency reaction to a video posted by Mediocre Tutorials Reviews titled, "I'm gonna beat you up for trying to see your son." Now, I put the link to the original video in the description box below. One of the problems with young guys on YouTube is they don't have enough knowledge and experience to comment on certain relationship situations without doing harm. Based on MTR's comments, some guy may think that it's okay to do what the baby dad did in the video, and it could end in tragedy. See, those guys have a right to share their relationship opinions, and you have a right to seek their opinions as a form of entertainment. However, when it comes to anything related to domestic violence or domestic abuse, if you're not an expert, it's best to keep your opinions to yourself. Otherwise, you could be responsible for several people like the ones in his video to lose their lives. So why is it MTR's comments in this video so dangerous? Let's talk about it. Since our people are quick to try to qualify a black man when we tell you the truth because you need to find an excuse to not follow the truth, let me lay out my qualifications first. I'm an award-winning domestic violence prevention and awareness seminar presenter. I have a PhD, and I had a practice for 2 years where I counseled court-mandated domestic violence abusers. All the experts were saying that there is no cure for abusers, but I discovered that when a man begins abusing a woman and brings her under his control by fear, that power becomes addicted over a period of time. And see, power is an addictive drug, okay? And just like with any drug addict, the power addict has to want to be cured of their addiction. They won't change unless they want to change, all right? Now, also, like too many drug addicts OD on their drugs, the domestic abuser often OD on power and dies or takes himself out after taking out his subject. Now, most people don't realize that there is such a thing as drug-induced schizophrenia. See, the addict can develop a split personality and become a totally different person when they are either high or in a manic state because they are desperate to get high. A person that is addicted to abusing another person develops a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type split personality where they can be sweet one minute and violently abusive the next. Now, there is a spiritual element to addiction as well, where at a certain point, the addiction starts being a physical problem and can only be resolved by spiritual means. However, most domestic violence intervention programs are run by nonprofit groups that cannot mention religion, and they are mostly led by women. So I had to convince the court to send these men to me by leading judges to understand that domestic violence is a woman's experience, but it's not a woman's problem. See, domestic violence is a man's problem that only other men can fix. Men have to use the force of physical and spiritual power to confront abusive men and make them realize that they have to stop. And see, I had gotten up to a 60% success rate and then suddenly lost funding. And I suspect that I got cut off because I was a little too successful. And that's when I realized that court is a business. See, 80% of stores' business come from repeat customers, right? But 80% of court's business comes from repeat offenders. See, the courts need repeat customers in order to stay in business. Now, hopefully you red pill cats will listen and not qualify me as I try to analyze this video shared by Mediocre Tutorials Reviews. All right, and I'm sure the young brother meant well, but he is caught up or too caught up in the red pill women ain't shit movement to realize that that what he was seeing is domestic abuse caught on video. Now, I don't know how many times men have to be told before they understand that rapé is not about sex, but rather about power and control. See, domestic abuse is also all about power and control. And let's take a look at the first part of this video so you can see what I mean.
Why can't I see my son? Then she got reinforcements coming and shit. Oh, come on, Rick, can I see my son? Can I see him?
Why are you here this early? You know you're not even allowed over here.
I'm here to see my son.
Okay, you can see.
Let me see him and I will leave.
It's early.
Let me see him and I'll leave. Why can't I see him?
It's early.
That's why I can't see him.
It's early. Move.
Let me see my son.
Oh, because nigga, I'm trying to see my son. It's 6:30 in the morning. Get the f out of here, nigga.
Nigga, I ain't hit the room door that she just
Man, get the f out of here, nigga.
don't care nothing about that gun or none of that. Get your bitch ass out of here.
Okay.
Nigga, come back to work.
That's what you
I don't
want?
care about that
That's what you
camera,
want to
nigga.
wear this nigga? This is for child support, bro. Come on now.
Who put you on child support?
I'm gonna put myself on child support because you reaching for that gun or none of that. Nigga, I will make sure it don't fall out of my pocket, bro. Calm down, bro.
All right, let's take a quick pause because we just learned a lot of different things in a short period of time. The first thing is that the young man keeps saying, my son, my son, my son, when in actuality, it's our son. It's both of theirs, right? Because I would argue that even if you are co-parenting in separate relationships, the reference to my son as opposed to our son means that there's a lot of healing that needs to be done, and they're currently not in a good space. So using that word to show possession, I thought was particularly interesting.
The reason this guy showed up early in the morning with a gun, using the phrase my son rather than our son, is to establish power and control. The time of day when drug addicts must have their fix the most is early in the morning and late in the evening, right? Now, most power addicts have to get their hit of power and control during those times of the day as well. And sadly, we heard the woman say, you are not on child support. Now, the majority of women who have an abusive baby daddy do not have them on court-ordered child support for fear of making them angry. And thirdly, this chart is called the power and control wheel, and it's used by experts to help women recognize when they are in an abusive situation. And I'm going to blow it up so you can see it better. Now, notice on the bottom left section of the wheel labeled using children, it says using visitation to harass her. See, most domestic abusers get overly fixated on their children or concerned about the men that the woman has around. However, it is because they don't care. It's not because they care about the children. When they take the mother out, they often take the children out too. See, they simply use the children as a means to maintain access to the victim.
This is what he's doing at this junction because she is not letting him see his son at apparently normal times of the day. So what he's doing is he's posturing up and said, I will try to see my son at any time of the day, even right now, without even telling you that I'm getting ready to come over. And I think on one side of the coin, it shows the desperation of the father of just wanting to be a part of the child's life. But on the other side of the coin, he knew there was going to be some shit.
No, MTR, no, okay? He did not show up there in a desperate move to be a part of the child's life, okay? It's red pill, women ain't shit mindset that is driving you to assign this guy respectable intentions. No respectable man shows up to a woman's home unannounced with a gun demanding to see a child. An irresponsible adolescent male or a man-sized boy might come to see his son wearing a gun, but a real man won't. A real man would understand that the courts can work for you in visitation and custody situations. See, real men file court petitions, all right? The guys that don't want to be held accountable to court decisions don't try to get court-ordered visitation. See, they simply use power and control to force the child's mother to bend to their will.
I like you, bro. Why do you be on that? Like you got a kid or something, bro?
Nigga, why is you all coming over here?
Cause that's my son. My son stays here.
Bro, I'm about to slap your bitch ass. Get out of here. I already told you, bro.
Then let me see my son get off that bullshit.
I already told you.
Okay.
Get off that bitch ass shit.
All right, hey, can you back up? Hey, bro, can you back up?
He locked his car in. He blocked his car in.
Now, we couldn't hear her too well over the two guys talking, but she said twice, you are not even supposed to be here. And that usually means that she has been to court and gotten a restraining order to prevent him from coming around her. And apparently her father has already talked to him also and told him to get off, in her words, that bitch ass shit. But he's such a little can't nobody tell me what to do bitch that he won't even respect her father. Now, do you see that there is something driving this guy that has nothing to do with his desire to see his son?
Shit, wild as fuck, man. Shit is dumb. I gotta go through this crazy ass shit, boy. Shit don't make. I'm here to see my son. I told you. Cause you be on bullshit. You don't let me see. I can't call you. You block every number I call.
Why do you think she blocked every number that he could call? First of all, who has the money to have several phone numbers, okay? The reason she probably has several numbers is because she had to change her number several times to stop his harassing calls. Now, I'm trying hard not to talk about specific cases that I had, but you should see some of the obsessive texting that abusive victims have to deal with. Sometimes they get hundreds of nasty, threatening, and violent texts every day. And 9 times out of 10, the abuser gets his victim's new phone number from one of her girlfriends or her family members. Now, I've even had cases where the man's mother helps him abuse his victim. See, she will stay in contact with the woman, pretending to be interested in her grandchildren, but she uses that access to keep her son abreast of what his victim is doing and how to get in touch with her.
I just want to see my son.
About to get
I just
personal.
want to see my son.
Okay, right,
We're doing this predicament.
Okay, bro, I'm about to leave, bro. I'm just trying to get my son. You weird. Why are you acting like that?
You wonder why you're in this predicament. What I tell you, right? She doesn't like things that he does. She uses their son as leverage.
Now, it's hard to hear what the woman is saying because the guy is such a bitch-ass chatty Cathy that he is trying to match the woman word for word. And brothers, real men don't argue with women like this. Now, MTR must believe that the woman doesn't know what the word predicament means. See, another word for predicament is bond. And what she was saying to him is that the way that he has been acting is the reason he is in the bind that he's in. And notice that she also keeps telling him to move or go. And that means that his car is not really blocked in. He apparently has enough room to pull out of the driveway without hitting the other man's car. So this is another indication that he's an abuser. You see, abusers have to be in control of everybody and everything. And the reason he wanted the man to move his car was just another way of being in control. When domestic abusers get handcuffed by police, they even try to control when the cops cart them off to jail. And later on in the video, she accuses him of being scared. And that's because abusers, okay, all abusers, not some, all abusers, try to convince their victims that they are not afraid of anything, including the police. They always try to BS their victim into believing that they are all powerful and in control of every situation. Therefore, they never let abusers, or I should say, I never let abusers have any control at any time. If they want to stand up, I make their ass sit down, and they have to ask permission to stand like a man. And they only get to stand if they're going to behave like a man rather than a man-sized boy. MTR, you blew this one, son. Okay? Your red pill mindset blinded your eyes to the possibility that there was another side of the story. Now, are there situations where women have acted just like you described? Yes, sir. However, those situations don't usually occur at 6:30 in the morning where the baby daddy has shown up unannounced to a woman's house with a gun. See, those situations usually occur in the context of the baby mama feeling jilted because her baby daddy has a new woman and he's happy, so she gets angry. And ladies, I cannot tell you how many situations that I've seen like this where the woman and her babies ended up being taken out, okay? If you have trouble with your child's father and he shows up unannounced, do not open the door for him. You must call the police immediately, all right? Amen. Well, that's all that I have for now. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, share this video with your family and friends, and I'll be back with something new that nobody told you. Until then, remember that God loves you, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I'll see you next time on Maximizing Fatherhood.